Well, let's welcome Mayuresh Joshi, Director Research, MarketSmith India, who joins us on the show. Hi, Mayuresh. Good morning and good to see you. It's going to be an interesting trading session. Crude oil prices have cooled off, at least from yesterday's high. They're perking up a little bit right now. But what's your view, particularly on a frontline name like INDIGO Aviation? One would think that, this one has corrected a large deal from the top. And near term, there are headwinds, no doubt, in terms of capacity, in terms of ATF price hikes. However, it's the market leader. And it's, valuation-wise, it's at least a little bit more palatable. Your take?
Morning, Michael. Yes, a sense of relief, at least for today, in terms of what is happening with crude and global markets, as well. Asian markets have probably opened far higher with the news flow coming through. For INDIGO in particular, you're absolutely right. I think there are headwinds and there is a tailwind as well. If crude cools off, a large component for aviation companies, almost 45% of their input cost is determined by the ATF prices. And therefore, if crude cools off, based on all the events unfolding over the next few days, I think that will be a confidence booster, because as input costs will go lower, the expectation in terms of better stability in terms of numbers should largely get played out. Secondly, I think in terms of all the issues that the stock was probably facing over the last few months, and the regulatory penalties and fines as well, the expectations in terms of as the escalation probably comes down, and if that happens, I think the routes that will probably open up specifically to Europe and the Middle East, which are more profitable routes compared to the domestic routes, I think that can start adding in terms of EBITDA contribution as well. And therefore, all the key parameters for aviation companies in terms of available seat kilometers, the revenue per seat kilometer, should largely start improving. But there are a lot of ifs and buts attached with it. Therefore, I think taking a call in terms of holding it in your portfolios or adding it in your portfolios from a long-term perspective, we still will like to wait and watch. From a swing perspective, yes, I think that can be a tactical case.
Yeah, got that. Mayuresh, morning, and that's something to track. Just a quick word, Mayuresh, on the levels itself at that, if you have any thoughts. The Liberation Day low was about 21,800, 21,743 to be precise. This morning we'll start a little higher at about 22,800 or so, if the GIFT Nifty is correct. Just your assessment of this entire thing, if there is a way to do it. Or you think, the better thing to do is, start to pick up things you like at sensible prices, as we've discussed in the past as well. Mayuresh, what's your feeling?
Good morning, Prashant. I think levels can be broken down based on the news flow that can probably come to issue. To define a level probably becomes an impossible task. However, I think if the headline index corrects further, another 4-5%, I'm not saying that it will, but if it does, I think the forward multiples will then start factoring in earnings growth of around 10 to 11%, assuming that the escalation continues and the second order effects in terms of inflation, growth dynamics going lower, etc. start playing out, and earnings recovery probably gets delayed and pushed back to H2. So I think it will become attractive levels. And therefore, I think certain sectors which are probably holding up relatively stronger compared to the rest of the pack at this juncture, sectors like pharma as an example, sectors like energy, and with energy, I think select power fields can continue doing well. And therefore, I think your positioning should be that you should start gradually entering these stocks within this sector itself, because here I think the earnings growth will remain reasonably strong. The second element, Prashant, is that you never know. If the de-escalation happens faster than one probably thinks and on the right track, staying underinvested in these markets might mean that you will probably miss out on the first leg. We're okay with that, because I think what will probably happen is that you'll still get your chances, but at least there is some element of surety that I think the worst is probably behind that, and there is some element to look forward to in terms of sectors probably doing.
Got that. What we'll do is we'll take a break. There's, by the way, an order for Kalpataru. Kalpataru has received an order for about 4,400 crores for their transmission and distribution business. We'll try and speak with the management a little later on the program as well. Take that break. Mayuresh, of course, is with us. We'll also connect with Sudeep Shah of SBI Securities and Mitesh Thakur for technical trading ideas. So that's coming up.
Welcome back. In conversation with Mayuresh Joshi of MarketSmith India. Mayuresh, we were just discussing HDFC Bank. So Sudarshan was telling us that how the stock has corrected 12% in the last 4 trading sessions. Valuations are now at 1.8 times versus a 5-year average of 2.7 times. There is more news flow. The company has proactively hired an external law firm to understand and review the situation surrounding the chairman. What are you all advising from an investment point of view?
Morning, Rima. No, I think 2 things. One, I think in terms of the price performance over a longer period of time, it is where it was 5 years back. Obviously, I think the regulatory developments and the issues that have now surrounded the bank over the last few days, the valuations in no other words have become very, very attractive, both on a standalone basis and even if you add the subsidiary component to it. Valuations still remain very, very attractive on a consolidated basis. However, like we've seen in the past, where corporate governance issues and allied issues probably start creeping in for banks, the confidence to come back from an investor perspective takes time. The second element in terms of the core banking performance itself, my own sense is for larger banks with larger deposit bases and larger balance sheets, how is the deposit accretion going to come about is something to be looked out for. Because clearly, I think if deposit growth lags the overall headline number that we've seen in the past, the entire scenario in terms of how numbers will play out over the next few quarters start dwindling a tad bit. And therefore, I think credit deposit ratios might start coming off. You might have better showing in terms of NIMs, asset quality, etc. However, I think from a core performance perspective, I would still like to track, at least for the larger banks on the private space, how deposit accretion is probably happening. So you'll get your incremental bounces as the market probably bounces back. But is there going to be a steady state recovery going forward? We'll still wait and watch. So as I've discussed in the past, I think something like an SBI from the public sector space, if it pulls back, I think this is one stock that we'll keenly keep on a radar to probably add on declines.
Okay, all right. Got that. So add the stock on decline. What about tech, Mayuresh? Yesterday that was actually the outperformer for majority of the trading session. Towards the end, there was big selling that suddenly crept in. So I think that index as well went on with a bit of a cut. But it was relatively outperforming. Even if I look at it, month to date, the tech index actually has done relatively better. What's your view on tech and what do you like from there?
So, Najil, again, I think looking at the markets and the way they are reacting in terms of news flow, it does become a defensive bet of sorts. However, our own sense is that the kind of disruptions that AI is probably creating at this juncture and how the companies are probably gearing up in terms of organic growth as far as AI is concerned, it's still a long, long way to go. And therefore, I think at MarketSmith India, I think our take has been that we'll keenly watch out for Q4 numbers. What we are also looking at the global scale, as far as the US and the European markets are concerned, we are also keeping a close watch in terms of the announcement that all these hyperscalers have probably done in terms of their capex plans. And therefore, how numbers will play out from a Q1 perspective. So both from a global as well as the domestic perspective, we are keenly watching out for Q4/Q1 numbers, which will give us a fair idea in terms of how the entire sector and the industry is moving. Management commentaries across domains, across various companies will also give us a fair idea in terms of the outlook for the sector over the next 4 to 8 quarters. So I think we'd wait and watch both on the local and the global scale for this quarter's numbers to come.
Right, Mayuresh, we'll talk again. Thank you very much for this morning's conversation. Appreciate it.